Hello and welcome to the Marriott Hotel in beautiful Los Angeles. Up first, Freema Agyeman. Ooh.
You've got to be able to feel like you're growing in some way with that character. And I did feel like I had that opportunity to kind of spread out a little bit and so we could see different facets of her. But yeah, she, there was a big chunk of the time was dedicated to her unrequited love for the Doctor. And possibly that kind of interfered with their travels a little bit.
Right.
It kind of overshadowed the main. It could, in some respects, some of the episodes were sort of more heavily leaning that way than others. But fundamentally, she was this independent woman, and she was set up as that, and she left as that.
Mm-hmm.
So that is great for me to be able to play,
Right.
and also just being involved in the show. In any respect, is a blessing for my career as an actor, and also for the privilege of getting to be Martha Jones.
Look at all these bloody nerds everywhere, my lord. It's just a complete and total mess. Oh, hello, ladies.
Hey, Doctor. Hey, Doctor.
Yes, still got it.
So I'm here with Tony Lee, writer emeritus. Tony, tell me what. Yes.
That's the best thing someone said about me all weekend. This is great.
Tell me what you're up to right now, because you're a busy guy.
Yes, I'm just finishing MacGyver. MacGyver 5 comes out next month, which finishes the arc, and then we're going to collect that as a trade. I'm currently putting together a story with J.K. Woodward, who did the Star Trek Doctor Who with me, called Omerta, Gods and Gangsters, which is like a crime type thing with elder gods and monsters and creatures and things like that. The Forgotten is coming out as a hardback, so I've just done a forward for them to bring that in, and obviously it's also come out as the omnibus from IDW, which is quite nice because it's got obviously my time machination as well. I'm doing a film called The Mild Bunch with Fraser Hines and Colin Baker and a few other people, which is in development at the moment. I've got a couple other films that are going out at the moment, like Stowaway and Bindlesticks are both being looked at and going through the optioning process. And while I've been over here, I've been speaking to a couple of American companies. It's insane. It really is. I've just finished my first novel for a long time, which is now going through the process. And depending on when this comes out, I'm either hypothetically saying that I'm doing 2 episodes of Superboy, or I can now say I'm doing Superboy, because for some reason it's been announced this weekend that I'm doing it. I can't possibly comment at the moment, but if this is coming out after 2 weeks' time, then yes, I'm doing Superboy 18 and 19, so which is massive, because I've been 10 years in the making of wanting to write for DC Comics, which is absolutely brilliant for me.
Now, tell me, because I don't think of MacGyver and a comic together right off the top of my head, but obviously it's happened. Like, how did that come about?
For the last 4 or 5 years, every time I've been at a convention, I always get asked the question, if you could write any character, who would you write? And I've always said I would write MacGyver, because I love MacGyver. And an artist friend of mine, Becky Cloonan, went, and I would draw it. And the moment somebody else actually gave me that kind of, yes, someone else would like to do this, I then spoke to my manager and said, look, is there anything we can ever find out? Who owns the rights? And they got me a Skype conversation with Lee David Zlotov, who actually owns the rights to MacGyver, because he created MacGyver, and that was it. And we had this conversation, and as it was, things changed. Becky couldn't do it because of scheduling, but we then had Will Sliney, who's now working, I think it's on Defenders with Marvel, came on board to do it, the artwork. Kieran Lucas and Owen Jollins did the colouring. Aditya Biatka did the lettering. Andy Tong did the covers. Every single person involved contacted me the moment it came out and went, I love MacGyver, I want to do this. And I just sat with Lee and we sat down and worked it out, and basically said, okay, well, if we did MacGyver, how would we do it? And we worked out a story where he's effectively on the run. There's a hitman. There's a load of hitmen out after him. Basically, there's a bad guy who's put a hit on his head and says, basically, it's 7 million. Every day he lives, it goes down 1 million. So, every day he stays alive is 1 day longer, but to them, they want to get him as quick as possible. At the same time, he's framed for a crime he didn't commit. He has to travel around the world. And it's just been amazing. And it's good in a way, because when you watch MacGyver on TV, it's only in a few locations, and most of them look like Vancouver. But with this, I mean, we've got him in Cairo, we've got him in Moscow, we've got him in a plane flying and crashing, and it's all over the place because it's a comic. We can get away with it.
Doctor Who has another funny advantage to it, which is that you can do any number of ridiculous ways of filming it because nothing is ever too much. You know, the program is baroque and crazy, and so you never have to do that worry. Oh, am I overdoing this a bit? Because it doesn't work like that.
Right.
It's like any amount of sort of crazy camera work or clever coverage tricks and things work. Mm-hmm. So in a sense that you can just do something that you've always wanted to do, something fun and crazy and keeps it alive, and then just actually be sitting there working with the actors.
So nice to meet me. Of course.
Unhand me.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I was admiring your scarf. It's quite like what I got from Madame Nostradamus. Witty little knitter.
Yes, very witty. Go away.
I'm here with Denton Tipton, who is the editor of the Doctor Who range at IDW Comics and a few other ranges besides. Denton, how's your convention been going?
Oh, it's been fantastic. The fans have been great. We sold a ton of books. The panel went really well, so been really happy with it.
So you're here primarily because of the Doctor Who titles. Maybe you could go into a little bit of the history of how you guys got Doctor Who and what you're doing with it.
Well, we got the license right before I started, so this is one of the first titles that I actually started editing. So I'm not sure exactly how we acquired the license, but now we've been doing it for I think about five years now, and we started out with one mini-series by Gary Russell, and then we started the classics, and now we build up to where we have an ongoing series. We're still doing the classics, we're doing one-shots and mini-series on the side as well, so it's as it's gained in popularity in the United States, our publishing program has grown.
How difficult is it to put this thing together all the while knowing that they might go in a completely different direction and then you're the guy who's going to have to deal with that?
Well, it's actually pretty easy. We kind of shoot in the dark sometimes because we're not privy to all the plans that they have for the television show. So we basically pitch BBC on the ideas that we have, and they say, well, we're doing something with this. You can't right now, but you can do it later. But they're usually pretty accommodating. We usually get to do most of the things that we'd like to do that don't interfere with the television show.
Now, you held a panel yesterday where you had a sort of a preview of what you guys had coming up. Maybe you could go into some of the classic stuff you got coming up and then some of the other stuff.
Okay, we're bringing back the Doctor Who Classic series that we have, where we're reprinting all the strips from Doctor Who magazine. And we left off with some of the 7th Doctor adventures, and we're going to pick up with that. I believe the strip that we pick up with is issue 145, which was Time and Tide. And we're going to start there and go forward chronologically and start reprinting them all again, all recolored. Well, not recolored, but colored for the first time in most cases. And then also classic Doctor stuff, we have the 50th anniversary series that we're doing called Prisoners of Time. It's a 12-issue series that goes throughout the entire 50th anniversary year, and each issue features a singular Doctor, and then the last issue will be the big finale where all the Doctors may get together.
Now, besides that, IDW also does other licenses, maybe, and you did a crossover as well. Maybe we'll go into the crossover first with Star Trek and Doctor Who. That's a whole lot of stuff to play with. How'd you deal with that?
It was pretty daunting at first. You know, we were really wary about doing it, but we thought it would be a great idea. Both fan bases are very fervent, so we were kind of worried what the reaction was going to be. But once we announced it, people responded really well, and then we were really nervous about when it came out. You know, we didn't know how the reaction to the actual product was going to be, because you know both have huge fan bases, are very passionate, and you know it's hard to please everyone. But the reaction had been positive, pretty much overwhelmingly. So we were really happy with that result, and as far as working with BBC and CBS, that went a lot more smoothly than we thought. We did 8 issues, and we kept them on a monthly schedule, even with painted art. So it was a pretty impressive undertaking, and it went way more smoothly than we all imagined. And
one thing in particular that I loved is you managed to sneak in the original crew of the Enterprise and Tom Baker and old school Cybermen from the 70s. Yeah,
that was a lot of fun. We were, supposed to just stick with the current Doctor and Star Trek: The Next Generation, but we really wanted to do something with Tom Baker and the original series on Star Trek. So we managed to sneak them in a flashback in the 3rd issue, and that one's proven to be the most popular. We've had a lot of people come up like, that's one that we missed. Do you have any copies? And of course, we're sold out as well. So that one's the hard one to get, in the back issue market. But we've collected it in trade paperback, so anyone that missed out on it can read it. So, and it's also available digitally.
And you've also got The Forgotten coming out in a bound volume, am I right?
Yeah, that's correct. Should be out sometime early March, and it's Forgotten's been our biggest seller since we've done that, I think in 2008, and ever since it keeps selling out of printing after printing after printing, and so we've decided to give it a deluxe hardcover edition. So it's a little larger than the regular edition. It also has, I think, maybe about a 6-page afterword by Tony Lee that talks about the origins of the miniseries and how it came about and how he put it together. So it's a really nice package, and we keep selling out of that book, so I think it's going to be another big book for people.
The best thing about Gallifrey is it's a complete sanctuary from all my woes. Oh! Up next, Andrew Smith, writer of Full Circle, which I was brilliant in.
Planet That Slept would have been about the 4th or 5th thing I'd sent in over the years, I think. And then Chris spoke to me and said, well, actually, we spoke on the phone, and he said, well, you live too far away, to be honest. Living in Glasgow is way too far. It's totally impractical for us to do it with you. But come down to London, we'll have a chat about writing and getting into writing and all that sort of. So I thought, okay. So I came down to London on that basis and walked in the office at Shepherd's Bush Green, and hadn't even taken a seat, I think, before he said, what we're thinking is we'll commission you for the first episode. As soon as he starts saying this, my brain is exploding inside my head. But so what we're thinking we'll do is, we'll have a script conference today. We'll commission you. We'll talk about the first episode and the story in particular. Well, we've got a companion we'd like you to introduce, and then we'll commission you to do the first episode and a scene breakdown of episodes 2 to 4, and then we'll see what we think. And if we like it, we'll commission you to do the rest. And inside I'm going, wow! And outside I'm going, okay, yeah, right, cool.
Right, I'm out of here. Now here's some internet nonsense that's probably out of date by now.
Con los terroristas.
And do the Harlem Shake.